Mega Man is a long video game series spanning many generations of game consoles and a ton of different series, spin-offs, different timelines or universes ranging from the original Mega Man 1 through 11 currently, the Mega Man X series, Star Force, Legends, ZX, plus several Japan exclusive games, the weird Mega Man Soccer. The most known series is from the Battle Network line. It got multiple games and 4 anime series with a movie. But there was also the 90s animated series produced between US, Canada, and Japan, being run by the old Ocean, Ashi, and Ruby Spears Productions. Ruby Spears produced many classic animated series, Scooby-Doo, Superman, Heathcliff, and Marmaduke. Combined with the writing and Ocean's voice cast, it became one of the more popular series in the mid-90s, running for 2 seasons with 27 episodes. Although a 3rd season was planned, it got canceled totally because of toy sales were low. Sometimes the toy line can be the bane of a series. Thundercats and Young Justice fans, I know your pain. And you'll see how dumb this is later. Ruby Spears has been familiar with adapting video games before this from their past involvements in the Saturday Starcade show that featured Donkey Kong, Q*bert, and several others. At the time of the show, Mega Man games 1 through 7 were out, so they had a lot of elements and robot masters they could use, including Mega Man X. Now, it did help that Mega Man's story is basic. It allowed all kinds of things for the 90s series to make, and helped with episodic stories, which I think works with this franchise even more so than other properties. With it being episodic, you can bounce around all the different games without always needing to show how Wily got different robots, for example. They stayed faithful to the game's visual look with some changes mainly to rock and roll. Instead of looking young like from the early games, they were aged up to, I would say, early adult, Roll being the most different. The pilot episode introduces us to the universe and is based off the first video game story of Dr. Light creating the group of robots that Dr. Wily reprogrammed for evil, of course including the changes that the US version added to the plot. One of the bigger additions was the expansion on Dr. Light. Dr. Light in the games was mainly just used as a narrator or just explained how a power-up would work. He didn't have much in terms of personality. The series included him in nearly every single episode, helping Rock and Roll stop Dr. Wily. He would always fight to show robots as good things. He kept building all kinds of stuff. They wrote him as Rock's father rather than just his creator. He cares very much for all his robots and feels some guilt to how Wily is misusing them. With Rock and Roll, they are brother and sister. They act like big kids and tend to have a rivalry. Rock was originally designed to be as human as Dr. Light could build. Rock could cry, feel emotion, understand right and wrong, which allowed him to have a high sense of justice and to protect people. Roll, much of the same. She was originally designed more as an assistant to Dr. Light with her arm attachment, able to reconfigure into different types of technical and house equipment. All of the characters overall got personalities, including even minor ones from the games. The energy tank bot, Eddie, recharges Mega Man, but he got a few things to do in the episodes. While Met was only used once in the pilot, he still helped out. The show incorporated nearly everything from the games in some fashion. Environments tried to stay consistent to the semi-future look of the games. The series also did a good balance in being comical and serious. Dr. Light is always shown as the kind old man. Ocean was smart in casting Jim Burns in the role because he did a good job as mentor in his previous series, King Arthur and the Knights of Justice. Mega Man himself bounces between fun and serious the most. He's written much like Goku is in Dragon Ball, ironically being voiced by DBZ's first Goku voice actor, Ian Corlett. I can't forget about Rush. He was designed to be the full-on comedic relief, which was a good idea, since Rush is only used as a way to connect Mega to each of the game levels, so they could do whatever they wanted with him. He got a few episodes to himself, he solved a few mysteries, but they could have done some more with his transformations. They didn't show off many of them. Dr. Wily will use the various robot masters through the series. He mostly sticks with a few key ones, Gutsman, Cutman, Protoman, who was made Mega Man's brother in the series, and Iceman. While the others like Electman, Fireman, and Bombman are used whenever the episodes need them, I think every robot master between games 1 through 5 appear. 6 and 7, even though they were out, never did for some reason. 2 masters, Pharaoh Man and Napalm Man, only appear once in the series and in the opening credits. The show did change a few things on how Mega Man's powers work. At the end of beating a robot master in the games, you would gain their weapons and Mega's suit would change color when you selected them. In the series, it's more limited. Mega Man copies a bot, which then disables the enemy's weapons, but Mega Man can only use the power once, and his suit stays the same standard blue. Protoman can also copy weapons, but rarely ever used it. The episodes don't strictly follow the game logic, so you won't have like Wave Man be the only bot during water episodes, but they do small references to level designs when they would feature a distinct location. You can even find some of the serial numbers for the bots around the series. Mega Man's DLN 001 is seen the most. As for the episodes they do, the pretty standard sci-fi tropes, body switching, shrinking, meteors that power up bots, time travel. Most of the series resets after each episode, so it's not the kind of show you watch for an evolving story, but some things do carry over. Roll was very clumsy during the early parts of Season 1 and did get in the way of Mega Man, but that got ironed out through the first season, so by the time Season 2 came around, Roll would act as a full backup with Mega Man. With the special episode Mega X, that one featured Mega Man X from the new SNES game at the time. It wasn't a bad interpretation. The look of X was spot on from the games. They wrote it in as this Mega Man is from the future of this series Mega. And they do talk about Sigma, but only really see a few of the Mavericks in the episode. Annoyingly, this episode aired right before the series finale. They had left some bits that would allow X to return to the series if they wanted to do another episode, especially with them leaving out Sigma. As for the series finale, it just ended on a standard episode. Dr. Wily took over some robot toys in order to steal a Black Pearl, which we had no idea what he was going to do with if he got it. I love this series to death. It was one of those shows that I would watch every time it came on. You could see the teams respected the games very much. There was always some small detail a hardcore fan would see. The music composer was on point. They mimicked the game's music. It leaned more into the SNES style than the NES, but they didn't directly copy themes from the games. They did their own thing. At the same time, you could feel an episode of the series could be a level in the game. Just picture text boxes. I think the show's opening is the most famous thing of the series, serving as a quick origin story to Mega Man and feeling like a movie. The series even beat out Power Rangers for a short time as the #1 kids show, and it still got canceled. I think it was because of the love that Rock and the others showed. Mega Man is your traditional superhero show, but it felt a little bit more. The family dynamic between the four of them was funny. Rock and Roll would poke fun at each other. Rush would break things in the lab. Whenever Rock got injured, Light and Roll would ready to do anything to save him. The comedy never got in the way. Dr. Wily, he needed work. He didn't get much in character, that's why I haven't really said much about him. He's just your typical bad guy wanting to take over the world, with most of the bots the same way, except Protoman. Protoman was an enigma. He was made by Wily, but would disobey him whenever he felt like it, and in some cases, failed objectives because he hesitated in killing Rock or second-guessing actions done by Wily. He won't admit to it, but there was some good in him. I would have liked if the show had gotten at least 2 more seasons, bring in the last few NES Robot Masters, explain what happened to the original Mega Man and X's timeline, flesh out Wily, and get a basic closure to the series. It didn't really need much else. Compared to Megaman NT Warrior, Rockman EXE in Japan, it doesn't have all the gadgets or fancy upgrades that Mega Man gets in those shows, but it has the same heart and family bonding dynamic. If you haven't seen it before and you're a fan of the Mega Man universe, go give it a try. Give it a try even if you're not a Mega Man fan. It's a great example of a US, Canada, Japan series that hits all the buttons. And you can't go wrong with the 3 actors from Beast Wars. Oh, a few other things. The DVD set kept the original commercial bumpers. Thank you, Discotech. Most companies cut that stuff out. And check out Mega Man Upon a Star. It was a 3-episode OVA made by the same company who animated the US series. It was their first test to see if the company could do a Mega Man series, and it features half the voice cast from the '94 show. It's not in continuity to it and follows the style from the games, so it's its own thing but has the same feel. Thanks for checking out the review. Subscribe if you want to see more, and if you remember a movie or show that's long been forgotten, good or bad, leave it as a suggestion below. I'm always on the lookout for obscured stuff.